I just wanted to add this in at the start. Capturing gameplay for this review was really hard because this game is very spoiler heavy if you have not seen JoJo. I am talking moves are direct spoilers. Names of moves that you'll see on the left. Like if you look at the gameplay, you'll see that all the moves are on the left. Some of them are named direct spoilers, so I have to be really careful with this. So my apologies if I'm not playing as a character you want to see, but all the characters which are my personal preference have moves which are complete spoilers for later in the series. So unfortunately there's nothing I can do about that, I'm afraid. I wanted to keep this review as spoiler free as possible, even though this is about as non-spoiler free as a game can get. I am a huge fan of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I had a friend who would beg me to watch it before I got into it for quite a while actually, but I always passed it by. Then one day, because I was trying to get myself into more anime, I decided to give it a go. And holy crap, I am glad I did. It is an excellent anime, especially in the later parts. For those interested, part 3 is my favourite, but part 4 is not far behind. I have also read the manga for part 5 and 6, which I kind of needed to play in order to... read, I should say, in order to play this game. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Eyes of Heaven is a PS4 game that not a lot of people seem to review for some reason, or seem to enjoy. And the ones that did gave it a low rating. To be honest, I do see why this game did get low ratings, but this game was made for the fans, pure and simple. So anyone who isn't a big JoJo fan will not like the game at all. So first of all, I have to say that obviously you shouldn't play this if you aren't a JoJo fan, although I highly recommend you check this series out. It is fantastic, and you should probably proceed into this game with caution if you have not finished part 3 and 4, and also if you don't know the story for part 5 and 6 and do not wish to be spoiled. I say that because, believe it or not, this game has quite a good story mode, which is pretty good for JoJo standards actually, but huge plot points from the series are ruined casually in it. Just suddenly, oh, I thought this character died, and you're like, no, I didn't want to know that, but it happens unfortunately. So that is why when I bought this game I quickly went out to read 5 and 6 online before proceeding into the game story, because I wanted to get into it so I could properly talk about it today, but obviously it was ruining things about the story. But just know that the story is actually pretty damn good and I did enjoy it, and it's basically an alternate ending to part 3 where characters from all 8 parts come together. It actually does start with ruining the ending of part 3, so keep that in mind. If you haven't finished part 3, then definitely do not play the story mode on this. But definitely do not play this game until you've done so. So, what is this game? It is basically a 2-on-2 3D fighting game, and it's basically the same as any other anime game you may have played. Any other fighting game, so similar to Naruto games, I believe it's similar to the Dragon Ball games. It's that kind of thing. It's not a Dynasty Warriors affair. These games are either Dynasty Warriors type games, or 2-on-2 fighters, or 1-on-1 fighters. This one's a 2-on-2 fighter, where it's like a big 3D area where you have to fight 2 other people, and you have to work with your partner together to be able to take the other 2 out. So you have more normal moves, special moves, and heat moves. All the moves are linked to the character you are tied to, and they are moves you would have seen them do in the actual series. For example, Joseph has a move involving a Tommy gun, Jotaro is super quick punching, which is just as fun as ever, and Father Pucci has... You do have quite a lot of characters in this part from all 8 parts, villains and heroes. They are all unlocked right out the box in the free battle mode, but you have to unlock them individually during the campaign. You also have moves which are called heat attacks in this game, and what they basically are is you and your partner will unleash an attack, but whoever is the one to land the dual heat attack, which is basically you charge at an enemy, the one to land that attack will get a super move, which will be something from the show, so like a complete badass move. If you're playing as particular characters, then those moves tend to be spoilers, which I said at the start, which I didn't actually realise that I was recording the gameplay how hard that would be. but that is a thing. That is a thing, unfortunately, and also the dual attacks are quite fun, and if you play as two particular characters that know each other, for example, just trying to think, from part 1, Jonathan and Zeppeli, if you play as those two and then unleash a dual heat attack, their attacks will join together, so it will act like they're working together, which is a very nice touch, and adds more chemistry to the characters, and makes them even more likeable than they already are. I love JoJo so much. Oh, and one more thing which I forgot to mention earlier. You can actually set the game up so it's com versus com. So if you just want to watch people fight, then you can set it up to do so, which is quite nice actually. I didn't actually do that while recording for this review, but that is a thing you can do if you want to do it. If you want something in the background. Anyway, the control system is very simplistic. You have a button for attacking, grabbing things, jumping, blocking, and a button you hold down to use special moves. Like I said earlier, if you are a JoJo fan, you're going to love some of the moves that are on showcase here. The fighting is not the best, it's not Tekken levels, it's very simplistic, it's not innovative at all, but if you are a JoJo fan, you will not mind at all, because of all the fan service that this game has. The graphics are a little bit underwhelming, but at least the game runs at 1080p. But why is this running at 30 FPS? You could have easily unlocked this, and it still would have worked. It probably would have ran well. The PS4 is a lot more capable than this. You probably could have got this at 60, but not a big deal. It's not. It is annoying. You have to play a fighting game at 30, but it's that nice at 30. It's the smooth 30 that people don't seem to give enough credit. You do have a lot of goodies you can buy with in-game currency, such as voice clips, alternative outfits, and you can also view in the game, in the gallery, in-game models, artwork, etc. You can also customize the characters to use a preferred taunt or voice clip. The annoying thing is, if you want to screenshot this, like what I actually did was I took a screenshot of the 8 main characters from all 8 JoJo parts in order to make a in order to use them in the, what was it called, Share Factory on the PS4? Yeah, Share Factory. In that, it allows you to make wallpapers. So I took 8 screenshots of all the character models from all 8 parts and put them together to make a wallpaper, because you can now make custom wallpapers on PS4. So that was pretty good. The only thing is, taking screenshots has an annoying overlay which is basically like their watermark or like their trademark information. It's not like a little logo in the corner. It's like a full-on white text on the screen, which, why did they put that in? I mean, it's silly, but it's worth mentioning that screenshots don't work in this game. At least it has screenshots. Anyway, the voice acting does seem to be pretty much spot on, and the reason I say that is because technically this game came out in Japan before Part 4 was released as an anime, and the voices are essentially identical in the game than they are to Part 3. So I would imagine that they have a solid idea of what the characters are supposed to sound like, and they're all fantastically voiced. There are some times they have had to obviously change the subtitles so they are different to what the characters are actually saying, but that is because the series creator likes to name characters and character abilities after famous artists and songs. Killer Queen, Kiss, Sticky Fingers, and in Part 5 there's, in the actual manga in the series, there's an ability called Notorious B.I.G. I'm not kidding. This is partly why the anime is taking so long to be made, and it's also why it doesn't appear to be getting a dub or a DVD release. They were all renamed here, so Sticky Fingers is called Zipper Man because his ability involves zips. Killer Queen is called Deadly Queen. Kiss is called Smack, I believe. And, well, Notorious B.I.G. isn't in this game, because if you've read the manga you would have an idea of why it's not in the game. But anyway, as a JoJo fan, I must say the gameplay is a lot of fun. The only times I got annoyed is when the AI partner doesn't appear to be doing anything. You can choose the AI partner who you fight with, by the way, which is always quite fun. And you can also choose who you want to use in the campaign. It's not like you're forced to use a certain character. You can choose who you want most of the time, unless the story says otherwise. It is especially annoying to pick a character which has a move where Actually, I'm not even going to talk about that, but basically, it's annoying when you're playing as someone like Dio, without ruining anything, and he does nothing while he's using his special move. Think of it like that. He does nothing while the special move is in effect. I'm not going to say what it is because, spoiler, but it is worth mentioning that the AI can sometimes be a bit stupid. Also, you know that famous bit in part 3 towards the end to do with the big thing which is thrown on the person? Yeah, those who will know what I'm talking about. But that's not in the game at all. It's not even a special move. If you don't know what I mean, then, well, just don't look anything up about the ending. Just finish part 3 already. Part 3 is amazing. Just go finish it. But that bit's not in the game, annoyingly. And also, the major problem I have with this game is one I really felt like was a missed opportunity. There is no local multiplayer. There's only online multiplayer, but it is region locked. And the online ping is rubbish anyway. I don't even know if there's servers or if it's sort of just connecting to me, but the connection was absolutely appalling for the online. It's not my connection. I tried a few games during that free multiplayer event, which Sony held a few weeks ago, and the online worked fine on games like Doom, Watch Dogs 2, and the Ghost Recon Wildlands beta, which I played with my friends for a bit. So yeah, I'm going to blame the game on this one. But yeah, no multiplayer. So if you want to play this with a friend who also doesn't have a PS4, then, well, tough. Like I said earlier, if you have not experienced JoJo at all, do not get this game, as you won't understand it at all, and it will ruin parts of the story. But I seriously recommend you watch this anime. If you are a fan, you will like the game, but I do not recommend getting this full price. Combat is a tiny bit underwhelming. It doesn't feel quite as tight or as fluent as something like Tekken, and there isn't tons of content, and it's not the most replayable game in the world, and it does get a bit repetitive at times. But yeah, basically this is a single player only game. The campaign will last you about 7-8 hours, maybe 10 if you take your time with it. And by then you would have seen all the characters and abilities. You might have a bit of fun playing with the characters and customizing, but still you will get your money's worth a lot better if you find this game at a reduced price. If you find it for about $45.50, you probably will be slightly annoyed about the content on offer. But if you find the game for £30 or $40 roughly, I would say go for it if you're a fan of the series. If not, then absolutely skip it.